Karl from New York Den, and here's my advice for people new to lifting in a rather short, long video. So, if you're new to lifting or training, well, I hope so, you're watching the video. Or maybe you're an intermediate. Perhaps you'll learn something too. Oh, you're advanced? Well, get out of here. When I started lifting the heavy things, putting them up, putting them down in a fashionable sense. I tried a lot of concepts and methods. I was eager and excited, but no training knowledge and no coach, so why not? I thought I'd try anything. In one way, I wish I knew what I knew now. My progress probably would be a lot better, but in another way, to be able to put the majority of these crazy methods into practice over the length of time and have that experience, it's handy for advising others. There are going to be times that you are clueless on what to do, and clueless if you are even progressing at all. There may be times that you're flying high, breaking records and making all kinds of gains. And there will be times, all of a sudden, that high crashes come down and your progress halts and you start getting injuries and you just don't know what happened. All of this is a natural part of the process the longer you play this game. But taking on a coach's advice or advice from people who have been through it and taken it on board might help you avoid these things. In the gym I train at, we have a lot of young fellas there, young whippersnappers, who are clearly invested and hungry for training and making gains. Some are very open and would approach me asking for the odd piece of advice. Now, in the early days of my training, I used to do this quite a lot. I was always open and friendly, so to learn off some of the more senior lifters, and I'm not talking about like a 64-year-old senior citizen, I'm talking about like someone just more advanced in the art of lifting. I learned some things I never knew, which helped me keep going and make progress and stay interested. However, if you're someone who is very standoffish with people, not very sociable, or maybe you think you know it already, you fucker, this might not be the best course of action to take. Adults know this. If you have a child who is not well socialized or fun to be around, adults will dread being around that kid full stop. But more importantly, if that continues, well, the child will effectively be deprived of opportunities from those adults. An adult isn't going to want to engage or be around children like that. And I'm more or less likely to give them opportunities or life lessons or skills or teaching them other things. The same goes for being like that in the gym. There are people around you who perhaps hold information that may be your golden ticket to success. So be open with them and less standoffish. I had one young man, in my gym some time ago, and I could see that some of the stuff he was doing wasn't exactly correct. Well, he could have gotten a lot more out of it, let's say. And he was in every day. Eager young man. And I would, some days I would pass him and say hi. The other time I'd say, you're getting stronger. Try to motivate him more. You're making good progress. You're looking good, man. Oh, you're looking good, looking strong. Not exactly true, but if anything, it was to try to hold his motivation. And I tried to open a dialogue to help him. But every time I would just get a grumble under the breath, and eventually I just gave up. He would still watch me doing certain exercises in the gym, so I know in some way he was interested, but for whatever reason, not interested in communicating, which is, it's fine, some people are, but you need to fix that shit, because honestly, it will help. Now, of course, this goes both fucking ways. You may befriend some absolute moron in the gym who convinces you training 3 hours a day and drinking protein shakes during your workouts when injecting your first cycle is the best way to progress. You have to be wary of these people, especially more in private gyms. My advice here is, well, I'm going to say this very firmly. Do not get enticed to take that sort of shit. It is not, and I repeat, not something you take lightly, like creatine. It has side effects and potential consequences. Come on, be a warrior. Take the longer, harder route. You'll come out of it much more resilient and better, and compared to those who take the shortcut pill. Those people tend not to have that dedication anyway to stick to things and end up having outbalances, hormones in later life, and struggle with their weight because of it. So if you get the fuckers in the gym that kind of like to suggest the early intervention of enhanced drugs, tell them kindly to go fuck themselves. Oh, one more thing I'll say in the social gym front is just don't be a dick. Don't throw around weights, don't be rude, have integrity. If you see someone struggling, even if you want that experience, offer to spot them or display good gym etiquette. Like if you see someone move away from a machine and you're even pretty sure that they're done, go up to them and say, excuse me bud, are you done? Oh, would you mind? Thanks. Hey. Remember, gyms are somewhere that you'll be daily, so make allowances, and you'll be much more comfortable going in every day. And these people can be people who help you even if you need a spotter moving forward, or just in general advice, or perhaps may start to receive the odd, oh, you're looking better, oh, you're looking stronger, oh, are you working out, son? Oh, you're looking big, man, you're big. However, in the same breath, especially for you young studs, don't take any shit. I've seen older guys trying to intimidate younger ones, forcing them off machines almost. So stand your ground. Don't let these cheeky fucks run miles over you. Okay, so my actual lifting advice. For fuck's sake, Karl, you've talked shite for the last few minutes. Firstly, I'm going to say something incredibly predictable. A personal trainer or coach would be doing it right. Did I do this? No. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't. Now, allow me to add to this predictable advice you've probably heard over 100 times. Get a coach if A, you can afford it, obviously. B, with the absolute clearest direction and start to everything. That's what you want. Or C, you want to take this very seriously, i.e. depending on how you get on, planning to take this through your journey, competitions, etc. However, all of this is absolutely pointless if you don't actually go to the right coach. And there is aspects of that. There is one, yes, the right coach for your specific needs, desires or goals. And two, actually a qualified coach. The practical side I'd say is more important, but when I say qualified, how do I put this without reselling the supplement flavor apple tree? There are some coaches out there that perhaps have done their time, got the sheet of paper and qualification, but perhaps don't exactly have too much hands-on experience in the field of training or experience themselves, or maybe aren't that passionate as others, and simply just don't really care, and they see it as an outlet for avenue of money. Maybe they just left school needing to find something to do, and they're just here. The amount of field coaches out there is pretty staggering. There's a reason I went with a specific coach when I was going through prep for a competition, because not only was he the best in his field, but he had done what I wanted to do several times. He'd been there, got the t-shirt, got the trophies, and cleared up. So that's all I'm going to say on coaches. It is certainly a good direction, but I'll be honest, it's not the only direction to go. I took a certain approach when I started. I didn't have much clue at all about anything, but I had a passion in my belly and a desire in my pecs. I read through as much reputable material as I could, old books, journals, training manuals. I listened to old and new pros talking about nutrition and training. Sure, some of the advice may not have been right or outdated. In fact, some of it was bollocks. But more importantly, it had me hooked and interested. So I was happy enough to put things into practice and do my little experiments, my own little physical experiments to see what worked for me, what didn't, and what could I apply sensibly. And it was fun because I simply enjoyed it. But you may not be someone like that. You may not give two shits about the gym or training. And your mindset is, needs must for my health's sake. If that's the case, get a coach. Let him cover the groundwork for you. And if you can't afford a coach, I would say stick to the basics. But furthermore, if you want to be consistent at this, I would say force yourself to love it. Really. I mean, honestly, force yourself to enjoy this. Figure something out, it out fast, because I'll tell you, if you hate every aspect of this, you're going to quit sooner than you started. And there's no way one's motivation and discipline will continue to go somewhere and do something they actively hate. So get into it, make it some sort of hobby. There are tons of different elements and genres to the sport that you might enjoy. It could be bodybuilding, it could be powerlifting, it could be CrossFit, it could be strength training, maybe like endurance sports, even training for outdoor stuff like hiking, climbing. Maybe you enjoy going to classes for the team and social aspect, whatever it is. Maybe it's snooker. But you'll have to latch on to it and figure it out pronto. And like I said, I took different approaches to this. The problem that occurred from this was the time it took to really figure out stuff on my own. Now, right, I didn't mind because I was in this for the long run, but it is certainly a waste of time and progress for years. For example, getting the buying on form of things and getting the form that is not only right, but where you can feel the muscle working. You see coaches all the time will always be able to teach you in the correct form and show you the correct posture, but great coaches will be able to explain to you in such an obscure way on how to feel the muscle working without molesting you during the session. That's an art, not the molesting, the showing you how to do things. So here we go. The next bit of firm advice, get the forms nailed down first. I can't state this enough. Get the forms more or less textbook perfect, maybe a little room for error where mobility lacks, but otherwise get it solid. Now, I'm going to quickly go over here a list of things that you should particularly remember when regards to form and such. This is stuff that instantly comes to mind for me. If you follow this, I promise you, it'll not only help you, but majorly speed up the process for you. Okay, after about 20 minutes in the video, let's actually do it. Okay, the first thing, full body is probably going to be the most efficient thing for you starting out. If you're not developed anywhere really, and you're not overly developed in parts or underdeveloped in other parts, I'll be honest, full body is going to be the most efficient way for you. Now, I'm going to do another video specifying these, why full body in terms of weighing up frequency, volume, intensity, etc. But just know from the start get-go, full body is probably, if you're training 3 days a week, going to get you the maximum number of stimulus to grow your muscles in a week. If you're doing a split where you only work one thing a week, you're only getting 1 stimulus a week, full body will give you 3. And being that you're such a newbie beginner, you don't need much stimulus or much stress to cause that stimulus. You don't need much work, essentially. I won't say too much on this topic. I didn't do full body starting out, but what I will say is full body might be, most likely will be 99%, 92.1%, 90, 100% be most efficient for you. Squats. Perform these in their complete full range of motion. Mobility permitting, of course. No half reps, just perform it in full rep range. When you progress your weight, you'll naturally progress to handle better weights and not have to worry if you suddenly come down an extra inch lower and then it's an entire shock to the system. Go down from the lowest point from the get-go. Machine work. When using gym machines, again, use these through their full range of motion. For example, on a leg extension and a leg press. Don't lock the pad or plate too far away from you as to only allowing you to perform a small amount of the rep. Make sure it's locked in the full way. Tempo. As soon as you start lifting, you'll get into the habit, straight away please, get into the habit to lowering the weight slowly and accelerating it up with power, fast and squeezing the top. There are other methods to this, moving the weight up slowly, but for now, as long as your negative aspect, that's the lowering of the weight, the eccentric aspect is nice and slow, you'll have a good control. Which leads me on to the next point. Start with the lowest weight you can. Do these techniques with the lowest weight. Don't worry about ego. I promise you, if you do this, you'll progress up and gain proper good strength with good control, with full range of motion, and you'll be able to walk around smug. Because the majority of fucks out there are clipping on huge chunks of weights, ego lifting. It's rare you see them performing even 60% of the rep. Bench pressing, because obviously for the majority, this is one thing that guys are obsessed with to get bigger tits. Girls, bigger ass, guys, bigger tits. This is for guys in particular, obviously. Again, make sure you perform the full rep range, but flat bench isn't the only way to do it. In fact, I don't use it. I use decline and incline, that's it. These, in my opinion, are superior to the flat. So get good at these quick because it will help. And you'll develop your front delts pretty well while you're at it. 2 birds, 1 weight. Biceps. For such a simple exercise, I see people managing to perform it wrong. And for such a small muscle group, I see guys doing it every day. Keep it simple. If you're looking to develop your short head, that sexy little peak on your bicep, so get your wrists up to the ceiling as much as you can and out even more if you can in a curl strict fashion. Nice, slow and controlled. Anything other than that, you're just wasting time and risking injury. Look, there is an absolute ton I could say and add to these. This is why it's such a long video. The internet has great guides to cover forms on everything. Just make sure you're covering your bases because you get into, it is very easy to get into a lot of bad habits for years. It's harder to ditch these habits when you start. But for the golden ticket here, the single most invaluable piece of advice I can give you. Get a book, get a pen, learn how to write, learn how to add, and write everything down as you go. Track. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The first week you manage to get 10 reps on 60 kilo bench, good for you, son. You're on your way. Write it down. Simple as that. Write it down. Come next week, you'll look at your journal. 10 reps on 60 kilo. Fuck, I was strong. I'm gonna go try 10 reps on 61 kilo. Or 62 kilo. Or maybe we'll try an extra rep. But you need to be progressing. This sounds extremely fucking obvious, but it's not for many. People do, some go through the motions and go through the weights and don't track anything. It's madness. The whole point of this is for you to get stronger. So you need to be progressing. But realistically, you're not looking at 10 reps on 60 kilo, then the week after saying to yourself, okay, well, I'm going to try 10 reps on 100 kilo. That's not realistic. Remember, slow progress, realistic goals every month. Small increments add up to big slices of sponge cake. All right, so my closing comments here, just stick to the basics. more or less. There'll be times you might get bored. If so, find new ways of doing things for sure, but keep to the basics. They work. I know YouTube will throw you a bunch of clickbait thumbnails like the ones I do, fuck me, in your face like, benching is killing your gains. Gain big legs without squatting. But it's all mostly bollocks. Stick to the basics. Enjoy the process. And I mean really, really enjoy it. This is a super fun, challenging aspect to go in. So get a partner too, even if it's a lot better. Don't be enticed with drug enhancements. You've got so much genetic potential to reach first. It's incredible, and you'll make yourself look miles different to what you look now. Don't get carried away with comparing your strength or physique to fucks on TikTok or Instagram. Again, most of them are on drugs and have been for 10 plus years, or genetic freaks, compared to your previous week's journal. Anyway, that's it from me. Look after yourselves.